Have you ever heard of the San Andreas Fault? It's a name that pops up in disaster movies and news headlines, often painted as this single, terrifying crack in the earth, just waiting to unleash chaos. But what if I told you the real story is far more complex and, honestly, a lot more fascinating? Today we're going beyond the headlines to truly understand this geological giant. It's not just a line on a map. It's a dynamic living system that has shaped California and continues to define its future. So, buckle up as we peel back the layers of our planet and unveil the true nature of the San Andreas Fault. First things first, let's clear up a common misconception. The San Andreas isn't a single clean fracture. Imagine dropping a dinner plate. It doesn't just split neatly in two, right? You get a main crack, but also a network of smaller fractures and splinters branching off. That's a much better way to think about the San Andreas Fault Zone. It's a massive system, roughly 800 miles long and extending at least 10 miles deep, composed of numerous interconnected faults that slice through California. Think of it as the main highway of tectonic stress, with lots of smaller side roads and off-ramps where pressure can build up and be released. This network includes famous faults like the Hayward Fault in the Bay Area and the San Jacinto Fault in Southern California, each capable of producing significant earthquakes on their own. Understanding this complexity is key because it means the seismic hazard isn't just confined to one thin line. It's spread across a wide, interwoven system. So what's causing all this commotion? It all comes down to a colossal, slow-motion dance between two of Earth's tectonic plates. Our planet's crust isn't one solid piece. It's broken into massive slabs called plates that are constantly moving, floating on the semi-molten mantle beneath. California sits at the boundary of two of these giants, the Pacific Plate and the North American Plate. Now these plates aren't colliding head-on or pulling apart. Instead, they are sliding past each other horizontally. The Pacific Plate is grinding its way northwest, while the North American Plate moves roughly southeast. The San Andreas Fault is the primary boundary where this sliding action happens. But here's the catch. The movement isn't smooth. Imagine trying to slide two pieces of sandpaper against each other. They catch, they stick, they resist. The same thing happens with these tectonic plates. The rocks on either side of the fault push against each other, but friction holds them in place. For years, decades, even centuries, the plates keep trying to move, but the fault remains locked. All that energy, all that incredible force, has to go somewhere. It gets stored in the rocks along the fault like winding a giant spring. The rocks bend and deform, accumulating strain. Eventually, the strain becomes too much for the friction to handle. The rocks snap, the locked section of the fault ruptures, and the two sides lurch past each other in a matter of seconds. All that stored energy is released in an explosive burst, sending out seismic waves in all directions. And that, my friends, is an earthquake. This isn't a new phenomenon. The San Andreas Fault has been active for about 30 million years. A silent architect shaping the very landscape of California. Its constant movement has carved valleys, pushed up mountain ranges like the transverse ranges near Los Angeles, and offset streams and rock formations by miles over millennia. To understand its potential for the future, we have to listen to the whispers of its past. The fault has a long and powerful history written in the geological record and in human accounts. The most infamous event in recent history is, of course, the great 1906 San Francisco earthquake. The northern segment of the fault ruptured for nearly 300 miles, slipping as much as 20 feet in some places. The quake and the subsequent fires devastated the city, becoming a pivotal moment in the study of seismology. It was this event that truly cemented the San Andreas Fault in the public consciousness. But that's just one chapter in a long story. Further south, in 1857, the Fort Tejon earthquake ruptured the central section of the fault. This was actually one of the largest earthquakes in California's recorded history, with an estimated magnitude of 7.9, even stronger than the 1906 quake. Because the population was so sparse at the time, the loss of life was minimal, so it doesn't get the same attention. But geologists study it intensely because it shows what the fault is capable of. Looking at these historical events tells us a crucial story. Different segments of the fault rupture at different times. The northern section broke in 1906, the central section in 1857. But what about the southern section? the part that runs right past the densely populated regions of Southern California, from the Tejon Pass to the Salton Sea. This southern segment has been eerily quiet. It hasn't experienced a major rupture in over 300 years. Now, remember what we said about strain building up over time? The average slip rate along the fault is about 1 to 2 inches per year. Over 300 years, that adds up to a massive amount of stored energy. More than 25 feet of movement waiting to happen. That's why seismologists are so focused on the southern San Andreas. It's not a matter of if it will rupture, but when. The tension is there. The spring is wound incredibly tight, and someday it will release. It's not about fear-mongering. It's about understanding the science and being prepared for the inevitable reality of living on an active plate boundary. So, the San Andreas Fault isn't some movie monster. It's a fundamental feature of our planet, a powerful force of nature that has shaped the land we live on. It's a complex network of faults, driven by the relentless dance of tectonic plates with a history that warns us of its power. By understanding this incredible geological feature, its complexity, its mechanics, and its history, we can better prepare for its future. It reminds us that the ground beneath our feet is not static. It's alive, and it's constantly changing. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the Earth. I hope you found it as fascinating as I do. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about the amazing world around us, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Stay curious.